Disclaimer. If you hear any noises in the background, it's because I am actually recording this inside my house. I typically will record the voiceover separately from the video, so there's another noise. My cats have a new toy and they are loving it, and so if you hear that in the background, I apologize. So let's just jump into this video. Welcome back to A Wild Approach. This video is going to be a garden walkabout while I talk about some things. First, I want to go over what the weather has been like. July has not been what I'm used to July being so far. We had some pretty good rain back in May and June, I would say, but July has been pretty dry. I'm not used to that. I'm not even adapted to the dry Augusts and Septembers we tend to get now. And now July is dry too? The good news is that as I record this voiceover a couple weeks after recording the video part of this, I hear a couple small rumbles of thunder, and it actually is sprinkling as well. Maybe we will finally get some real rain after weeks of brutal heat and dry ground. I was planting some seedlings recently, and digging in the soil in the backyard was like trying to dig into Mars or something. Hard, dry, dusty clay, and sandy loam that has hardened to a chunk. It was similar to trying to scrape away at concrete block. I also took the time to water some things. I really try to only water what is newly planted. If we don't get some good rain soon, I may have to water other things I wouldn't normally water right now. Some of my newer plants, or recently relocated ones, are looking a bit sad and thirsty. Some of them even after giving them water. On a brighter note, I keep planting. I keep adding things. I recently planted a new pawpaw, which is the third one in the garden. I have another pawpaw sapling coming up in its pot too. So that will be 4 pawpaws once I get that one in the ground. The pawpaws are especially exciting because I planted the seeds way back months ago so they could get the natural cold of winter. At the time, I wasn't sure that they would sprout. I heard that they won't grow if the seeds dried out. Sure enough, I didn't find that out until way after I had let the seeds dry out. So I planted them anyway. Doesn't hurt to try, right? I don't lose anything to try. If the seeds rot, they rot. If they grow, then that's awesome. I think I planted 3 seeds. I can't remember exactly. So far, 2 of them sprouted months later. Sometimes you just have to be patient. These sprouted last after my other seedlings already had a head start. Maybe some folks give up too soon. I don't know for sure, but experiment was a success so far. And you know, I love to experiment. I should probably wait though and only call it a full success after both are in the ground and growing well. So far, the one I planted in the ground is doing pretty good. It's looking better than the flowering dogwoods that were further along, so that's nice. Those are dealing with some powdery mildew issues. I'm not just planting pawpaws for the fruit, although that is a very exciting part. I'm planting them in the hopes that I can attract zebra swallowtail butterflies. It's going to be difficult. I've never seen them here in the city yet. However, just a few miles away in a nearby rural area, I have seen them. So I don't know if they will come this far into the city or not, but again, why not try? Pawpaws are the only host plant that I know of for these zebra swallowtails to lay their eggs on. I have a lot of host plants in the garden these days, and I'm just trying to keep them alive, and hopefully over the next 3 years or so, they will thrive and grow a bit better. I think it's time for me to add some of my homemade compost to my backyard garden, where a lot of my small, new host plant trees are. I've got hop trees, red buds, pines, plums, spicebush, sassafras, and more, summer trees and summer shrubs. I'm I'm talking too much about my back gardens. It's time to get back to talking about the front garden. Habitat Hedge was a garden bed that I wanted to create for both privacy and habitat for wildlife. It's finally providing both of those. I love the little nooks and crannies in between and underneath the plants. It also finally shields us pretty well from the road. This street has been getting busier and louder over the years, so creating that buffer is really nice. It doubles as host plantings, small patches of shade, food resources, and nesting sites. My favorite part is where I planted trees, shrubs, and herbaceous plants very close together. This area feels more natural and more like I'm stepping into a magical thicket or forest edge. I love the feeling of moving from one area of the garden to another, and I really want to create this feeling in other garden areas as well. It seems difficult, but really all I did was I planted a lot of different things close together and planted one or two things that I repeated throughout the area and the garden itself. This added a bit of consistency and cohesion. I guess what I want to create as soon as possible is a thicket for myself to fit into. I want a space that's super cozy and tucked away in a dark little pocket. I need to figure out how to do that. It may require sculpting via very tediously pruned shrubs and trees. It may require tall grasses here and there. I'm not sure, but I'd like to create a place to put a chair. I want it to be shaded and hidden. I want it to take effort to go into or find if you're not familiar with my garden. Creating density will be of utmost importance. That's what worked for Habitat Hedge. Maybe I should go ahead and work on killing some lawn this summer. It's a great time to smother or solarize. I think I still have a bunch of shingles I can put down over the ground. This is something my mom used to do to kill grass and make way for her zinnia patch. I may do the same to start my new cozy nook. It may take a few years to accomplish this. I need to plant lots of things after the said killing of the lawn. I need to plant a diversity of plants and ideally add both evergreen and deciduous plants. It's usually better to incorporate both in this type of garden. Leave your ideas down below. How can I create a cozy, shady nook that feels like entering another realm or feels like living in a hedge of my own? And how do I do this with native plants? I think the answer may involve using some of the plants I already have and some of the strategies I've already used. But let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to let you watch the rest of this video with just the garden sounds and the bird sounds and the insect sounds. I hope you enjoyed this little garden walk and chat. Bye everyone. You all requested it and it's finally here. Reduce Your Lawn shirts are now available in my brand new merch shop. Thanks so much for supporting the wildlife habitat we're creating. To support the channel, like the video, comment, and subscribe. You can also support my work by buying art from me at macylu.com. Thanks for watching!